Soulmate is the M3GAN universe after dark. Same tech, same warnings, but a way meaner delivery. And I gotta be honest with you, I had a really good time with this one. Welcome to Scary World, where I walk you through the best, the worst, and the downright disturbing. I'm Arturo Padilla.
Hi.
Let's get into it. A grieving engineer is hired to beta test a new AI android, and when he pushes her into being something more than that, she develops needs of her own.
Tell me you love me. People are gonna try to get in the way because they don't understand what we have.
The first category is production.
Told you I'd make a movie someday. Huh?
This movie was directed by Kate Dolan. Dolan impressed me back in 2021 with her folk horror flick, You Are Not My Mother. She's an Irish filmmaker with a really distinct voice, and this is her first go at a major studio picture. The first thing you notice is how polished this movie looks. It's well shot, it's nicely framed. Dolan has a good eye for horror and showcases that here once again. She makes sure that all the shots are composed nicely so the viewer's eye are focused right where it needs to be. The editing is smooth and crisp with really nice cuts, making sure the pace stays on track. The score is also a really nice piece of work, especially when we hit the climax. It gives classic horror vibes, reminding me of a Hitchcock flick. Overall, this was a well-executed horror movie. From top to bottom, the crew knew exactly what to do and how to accomplish it. For production, Soulm8te gets a 2 out of 2. I really liked the way this movie looked, and like I said, it's nice and polished. It is definitely from a filmmaker who knows what they're doing behind the camera and with their crew. Everything was well executed from start to finish, and I was really impressed with the way everything came off. The next category is story.
Second act needs work.
Dolan co-wrote the script with Raphael Jordan, who is responsible for a slew of straight-to-TV horror and genre flicks. But fear not, folks, Jordan had some help from James Wan himself and Ingrid Bisu, who helped Wan with Malignant. The concept isn't fully original, and I don't think anyone's pretending otherwise. It's literally been done within the same universe with the first M3GAN. But what Soulm8te does is give you a not safe for work edition of that concept. Think of a better version of Subservience with Megan Fox and a less put together version of Companion with Sophie Thatcher, and you got Soulm8te. Our android's personality also feels a little familiar. She reads like an iteration of Nikki from Obsession, just not nearly as good. The bones are there, but the assembly isn't as tight, if that makes any sense. All that said, the movie is paced well. This thing moves nice and quick, with all 3 acts hitting the proper beats, and the 3rd act is solid and surprisingly action-packed. Thematically, the movie explores the horrors of technology, its misuse, and what happens when guardrails that are set up for safety are selfishly ripped out because somebody wants more. It also comments on our dependency on this stuff and how badly that can backfire on us. One major gripe that I did have was that the story adds a chunk of forced conflict to help move things along and show us the meaner side of our robot Sarah. It's a cool scene, but it lands super awkward. It's also a tad over the top for where we are in the movie. It's kind of off-putting, and it honestly hurts the flow of what was a decent story. For story, Soulm8te gets a 1 out of 2. Like I said, this is a retread of a concept. There's nothing really new here, but it's just the execution of the story that makes this a lot more fun. It is an R-rated version of M3GAN, but even this movie falls into the same traps that M3GAN did as well. And like I said, there are some scenes here that are forced into this movie in order to move things along, in order to show us the threatening aspect of the android and what she's capable of. The next category is ensemble.
She's an actress. She's acting.
The cast was surprisingly good. Lily Sullivan of Evil Dead Rise fame plays Sarah, our robot, and she does a really good job on both sides of the character, before the guardrails come down and after. She aces the robotic movements and the robot beats right when that character is introduced, and then she gets to have fun and let it off the leash. It's a committed performance showcasing her talent and her acting range. David Rysdahl does a good job as our other lead, David. He brings a vulnerability to it, which the movie needs. You have to buy that this smart dude would do something this stupid, and he sells that very well. The rest of the cast knows what their mission is, and they nail it. Nobody drags down this movie. For ensemble, Soulm8te gets a 2 out of 2. Like I said, everyone involved knew exactly what they needed to do on set, and they accomplished that with the full marks here. Especially Lily Sullivan as our femme fatale robot. She does a great job, and she knows exactly what to do with the role in terms of the movement, in terms of how much she needs to emote, in terms of how much personality she has to add throughout the movie as the character develops. She does a great job. The next category is horror.
Is it scary?
There is some blood and gore in this movie. The gore is surprising and effective when it happens. And best of all, it's all practical and it looks good on the screen. Sarah's power save mode is creepy and eerie. The glowing eyes gimmick is a simple one, but it gets the job done. And the killer robot makeup looks great. They clearly spent some time on it. My biggest gripe with this movie, and it's the same issue I had with M3GAN, is that there just isn't enough of all of this. We got a couple of nice kills, but I really wanted more. The story lends itself to it too. It's a real shame because what we get here in the horror department is quality, but the body count is too thin and you spend a good chunk of the second half waiting for the fodder to pile up. For horror, Soulm8te gets another 1 out of 2. Like I mentioned, this was the same issue that M3GAN had. It had I think a couple of good kills, but you had to wait the entire movie to actually see that happening. And it's the same thing here, unfortunately. And what's even worse is the fact that it actually looked good when it did happen. So this is why I wish there was a lot more of it throughout the movie. I think there was opportunity throughout the script to have Sarah do some damage, but they kind of scaled it back a little bit, and that is a detriment to the overall movie, unfortunately. The next category is legacy.
All right, now make up your mind.
Soulm8te is no masterpiece of cinema, but this was a surprisingly fun and solid movie, and I had a good time with it. It has a good cast, a good third act, and a killer robot femme fatale that I wanted to spend more time with. This would have honestly been a nice theater watch. Universal actually had it dated for theaters, but for some reason pulled it off the calendar. They sat on it in post, and it finally landed a straight-to-digital release on August 1st. Which sucks because I've seen a lot worse in theaters this year. A lot worse. One Eli Roth movie comes to mind. My only real wish was that there was more fodder for our robotic femme fatale to dispose of. Still, I can see this movie gaining a following over time. It's exactly the kind of movie people would watch at home, tell a friend about, and all of a sudden, it's got a life. For legacy, this movie got a 1 out of 2. Like I said, I really liked this movie. I enjoyed it. I really wish it was released in theaters. It would have been a fun watch. And compared to the horror trash I've seen recently in theaters, this would have played very well to the audience. I am hoping it does get some traction on home video because people will definitely enjoy this sitting on the couch. Now let's add it all up. For production, Soulm8te got a 2. For story, it got a 1. For ensemble, it got a 2. For horror, a 1. And for legacy, another 1. Bringing the total score up to a 7 out of 10. This is a good movie that the studio treated like a bad one. Yes, the concept is borrowed and I wanted twice the body count, but there's a real filmmaker behind the camera, a real performance in front of it, and the third act that rewards the viewer. Universal pulled it from theaters to dump it onto digital. It's their loss. Go watch it on VOD. You'll have fun with it. I'm Arturo Padilla, and remember, it's a scary world out there, but I am here to walk you through it. See you next time.
Hello, I just wanted to say goodbye.